Trailer was pretty good overall, but I could have done this scene better.
We don't want to fight you.
You're a beta male, Sonic.
The Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie trailer is not something I was expecting to talk about. To keep it quick, I was working on the second Sonic X Shadow Generations video when this trailer came out and released it a few days later. After that, I polled my channel to see if people were interested in me covering the movie trailer, since I don't really do that on my channel, and I got a fairly resounding yes. Don't look at the vote count, it's rude to point out those numbers, okay? Shh. So with that established, and in the spirit of the Year of Shadow, let's get moving! The trailer starts with Sonic running through a forest-like area into what looks like a huge log or a tunnel, while Tom says,
Sonic, you finally found your family.
This probably looks like it's referring to his friendship with Tails and Knuckles, which has definitely progressed since the end of the second movie and the Knuckles TV show. There are a bunch of other quick cuts showing Tails and then Knuckles, who causes a huge amount of damage to a clock. Come on man, this is like Sonic Unleashed levels of property damage.
Feeling good!
Knuckles also has these new fiery fists while gliding, and I'm assuming it's another manifestation of his power. There's a lot of these action cuts at the start which shows the character's abilities and the noticeable visual upgrades, and it all culminates into a scene where Tom and Sonic are having a talk. This is after they find a painting that Sonic made of him and Longclaw in Green Hill, which probably prompts the family talk from Tom.
But you didn't change who you are in here.
Yeah, in my lungs.
Or your heart.
Okay, full disclosure, this joke didn't really land for me. I know it's probably meant to be funnier for the kids though, so I'm not too bothered by it. A quick set of logo reveals for Paramount, Sega, and to show that this is an original film. Oh gee, who'd have thought? And the trailer cuts to an EKG of Shadow in the movie's adaptation of Prison Island. In the background, Commander Walters talks about a high-level security breach, and we get our first close-up shot of Shadow as he does what he does best and breaks through anything in his immediate vicinity. Walters then says,
"We need Team Sonic's immediate assistance."
Which is an interesting continuity beat, since it looks like GUN and Sonic are on cooperative terms, which is a stark contrast from the situation in SA2. Look at this, it's like you got 5 stars in GTA. In fact, a lot of the movie seems to be very different from SA2, and I'm actually fine with this because I think taking a setting from a game and transforming it into a unique concept while still paying attention to the original source is probably the best way to make an adaptation. Besides, if I wanted to go see a one-to-one recreation of SA2, I'd just go watch a cutscene compilation on YouTube.
I've come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a big...
I'm mentioning this because I've been seeing a lot of people denounce the movie as not faithful to the games. I get it, everyone will have their own opinions, and in the end, it's not like this movie is going to tank because of that, but I guess I just find it an odd stance to take against adapting media. Getting back on track, I think that even though we don't see it, the security breach that Walters talks about is probably either Eggman or Agent Stone, or both, releasing Shadow. One thing that I haven't seen talked about that much from the post-credit scene of Sonic 2, probably because it's lost to the hype of the Shadow reveal, is that Agent Stone knows about Project Shadow. He overhears another agent tell Walters about it while he's in disguise. I mean, does he even really need a disguise? I had to go look up this guy's name because I completely forgot what it was. Either way, Shadow breaks out and Walters calls in Team Sonic, probably because the agents were having a bit of trouble getting through the finding out part of messing around. He then starts talking about how Shadow's story began similar to Sonic's, this mainly referencing how Shadow lost Maria just like Sonic lost Longclaw at the start of the first movie. We also get a shot of Shadow and Maria, and after a few more cuts, we see him and what looks like Gerald Robotnik over Maria's corpse with GUN soldiers advancing on them. These two shots are broken up by footage of Team Sonic, Tom, and Maddie doing some kind of race, either training or just some kind of family activity, likely meant to point out how Sonic's and Shadow's lives are basically polar opposites at this point in time. Then this trailer starts to introduce the captivation shot, which is the name I basically gave to the part of the trailer that really gets people's attention. We make a quick detour for another tepid joke.
Alright, we got a rogue alien on the loose. How do we find it?
Start with the giant fireball?
I love it. Let's start with a giant fireball.
Look, Paramount, I know that the movie is rated PG, but you don't need to consider the 3-year-old toddlers every single time you attempt comedy. Like, we're talking child-friendly, but do you even know how many of the kids would appreciate subtle meme humor these days? The meme training happens before the toilet training for a lot of these infants, and even before they're learning geography, they're talking about gyats and skibbity. Okay, this is getting out of hand, but my point is that not every joke should be a blatant one-dimensional line. I'll accept some of them for the kids, I just don't want my brain puckering inside out every single time Sonic speaks, okay? However, despite how I felt about the initial part of this trailer and the jokes, this is where it flips the switch. Team Sonic is deployed in a fantastic skydive shot, and as the music builds up, they come face to face with Shadow.
He is much more impressive than the Hedgehog I fought previously.
Dude, I'm standing right here.
Yeah, there's one more lukewarm joke in the middle of it all. This one's not too bad, still not doing it for me, but I'm over it, so let's just move on because we finally get to hear what Shadow sounds like.
You're a colorful bunch.
He sounds like John Wick. Where's my debit card? I'm buying 20 tickets! Keanu Reeves being announced as the voice of Shadow in this movie was probably the biggest curveball that Paramount threw. I didn't know much about Idris Elba, so when he was announced as a VA for Knuckles, I didn't really know what to expect. He ended up sounding pretty good, but this reveal was something else. Look at this picture and tell me he isn't a good fit. I dare you. Back to the trailer, Shadow calls out the racial diversity, and Knuckles, after refuting Sonic's "we don't want to fight" speech, makes a lunge for Shadow. Shadow does his Chaos Control Warp, and it's a good clip, but if I had to make one small change, I'd have Shadow also grab Knuckles' forearm to snap his wrist, or turn his wrist inwards instead, because at first viewing, despite the sound effect, it just looks like Shadow's turning his arm. I get it, it's a bit of a nitpick and an overcomplicated analysis, but I ask you, what the hell did you click on this video for then? Shadow then kicks Tails, and the bullying has basically become a meme at this point. Then we get Sonic, and yeah, Shadow basically plants our blue boy into the ground. In terms of the shots themselves, I think they're actually reversed, because when Sonic says "my turn," there are actually a couple of cop cars behind him, and I don't see Tails. But in the shot where Shadow grabs him, Sonic is facing opposite a huge glass building instead. It makes sense why the shots might be reversed, because having Sonic saying "my turn" as the last shot of this scene would shift focus off of Shadow, but I'm guessing in the actual movie, Sonic is going to say that after eating the Chaos Chokeslam. As a sequence, I think it works fine. It's basically the rival's show of power. It happened with Knuckles in the Sonic 2 trailer as well, and it's a nice touch to have Shadow effortlessly deal with the previous movie's powerhouse. After that, we have the Paramount Presents logo, what looks like the Space Colony Ark rising into the sky, and an incredible shot of Shadow skating over water. But what I really want to point out is the music. After seeing and hearing Green Hill so many times, I didn't think that the music would have an impact on me, but man was I wrong, because hearing this orchestral, dire-sounding piece of Green Hill was an experience. I don't know if this was on purpose, but it also plays a really good role in, again, establishing contrast between the first film and this one. In fact, I'd like you to take a listen to this version of the song and compare it to the one that we hear in the first trailer. No, not that one!
Let the play Sonic! Let the pitcher's mound also Sonic!
He's too powerful.
The next bits of footage show Shadow using his Chaos Snap powers to deal with the GUN soldiers, and it feels like it took inspiration from the Shadow the Hedgehog intro. We see Tom yell out, "Sonic!" And people actually think that this is before his death, and I'm not gonna lie, big respect to Paramount if they do it. However, I highly doubt it'll go that far, but I do have a theory. Tom is wearing a GUN outfit here, which I think is for one of two things. Either he's temporarily been recruited by GUN to help Team Sonic, or he's gone undercover as part of a B-plot to uncover the skeletons in GUN's closet. I see the second being more likely, since Tom has never really been the type to join a military organization. He's more comfortable being a friendly neighborhood cop. I do have one really wild theory that this is the scene where Tom is nearly killed, but Shadow, having a change of heart, comes in and saves him at the last second. Theories aside, we see Shadow deliver a punch which transitions to a portal opening that seems to lead directly to space, based on how everything's being sucked in. Chaos Control has opened portals across time before, so it's not a huge reach to say that it can open portals between space. Especially since we already have rings that do that in this continuity, and Chaos powers are usually way stronger. Then we get a zoom out shot of Team Sonic looking shocked and sad, but if you listen closely, you can hear a faint siren going off. Most likely this is Tom and possibly Maddie being arrested, or Tom being gravely injured as a consequence of the previous scene and being taken away in an ambulance. The nearby police cars may lead people to think that they're being arrested, but I personally think that it's an ambulance since the siren is much higher pitched. Yes, I analyzed the siren in a movie trailer. I've heard way too many police and ambulance sirens as part of my job, and I just wanted to put that to use for this video, okay? My guess is that Tom being hurt or arrested leads Team Sonic to ask Eggman for help. Tails clearly opposes it at first, but I'm guessing that Sonic vetoes this in one of the few rare moments of him being serious, and then they head off to meet Eggman in his crab ship thing. And then we get the return of the legend Jim Carrey, who looks like he's sporting a fat suit to complete the Eggman transformation. Also, I love how Agent Stone looks like a disappointed parent here. Knuckles basically seems to voice what he's thinking.
This is sad, Robotnik. Even for you.
Sonic requests his help, Eggman takes another one of his quills as part of the trade, and then Jim Carrey gets to work in classic Jim Carrey style.
What? Do this!
If I can't rule the world, I might as well save it!
For another theory, I think Eggman's line here could be after his possible plan of freeing Shadow goes awry and Shadow goes on his rampage. It also would give him a reason to work with Sonic to get revenge. I'll talk about this a little bit later on. For now, we have a reveal that was basically lifted from the Mask movie. I mean, it's almost a perfect replica. Look at this. Then it's followed by a joke that I actually find really funny. I mean, I just love this guy's acting, man. It's so campy, it's amazing.
I need room.
But, sir, I don't have the proper materials.
Found some.
We get a few short cuts of Sonic and Eggman going to somewhere, I don't really know where it is. A couple of shots of Shadow where they bring back the bike. Paramount. You have my respect. Also, I find the line that Shadow says here pretty interesting.
When we're done, there won't be anything left.
The we in that sentence implies that he's working with someone, which is part of what I said I'll talk about later on. There's a shot of missiles heading towards Team Sonic and what looks like Commander Walters. It's tough to say at this distance, but more importantly, they look like they're in some kind of chow-themed restaurant. We get another incredible line read from Shadow.
What did you do?
What I had to.
I still can't get over Keanu voicing him, it's just, ugh.
Why are you gay?
Hey, it's not just me who loves Keanu, by the way. Sonic also adores the guy. Remember this line?
Yes, Keanu! You are a national treasure.
After that, there's a shot of Shadow doing the Akira slide, which got memed as well. Sonic and Shadow rocket towards each other, and the impact frame transitions into the logo with an orchestral rendition of Live and Learn playing in the background. But we're not done yet.
Welcome home, my boy.
It's impossible.
Is it? It couldn't be. Couldn't it? Are you? In the saggy flesh.
This reveal of Gerald being alive is an interesting direction to take the movie. Shadow's mention of we comes back here, and I think that the plot could involve him and Gerald working together to get revenge for Maria's death. I also think that this is how Eggman, despite initially working with Sonic, ends up making an evil turn again, but this is another one of those wild theories. A lot of different avenues can be explored here. Gerald might be a bit too crazy with his Armageddon plan, so Eggman might join Sonic again to help stop him. I think Shadow and Gerald might have a grudge against Walters because a minor plot twist could be that he was the soldier who ended up killing Maria. It would explain how he knew about Project Shadow from hearing just the location. I can see a lot of potential for discussion about this. If YouTube allowed it, how is this made for kids? We are talking about the revenge plan for a murdered child. So that's about all I have in terms of analysis and theories for this movie. If you like my style, I also covered the footage for Sonic X Shadow Generation, so give that a look if you're interested. I'm also planning on making another big video essay in the next few months, which I promise I'm working on. I just want to do this as a quick little side thing. I also do Let's Plays of mainly Sonic and Nintendo for now, but I'll be branching out soon. And yeah, if any of that is interesting for you all, subscribing and leaving a like motivates me to get better, and it lets me know that this is what you want to see. Otherwise, hopefully I'll be seeing you in another video. Till then! As usual, I really want to thank Sinister Pixel, LPs, and a couple of my anonymous friends for their constant critiques and feedback on this video while it was work in progress. Making a video about a movie trailer was a bit of a one-time thing, but since I knew Sonic, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do, and it was super helpful to hear their input and make this video the best it could be.